Pete Sousa Show. Yes, there he is. Cam, it's been a while, bud.
It's been a minute. Yeah. I'm surprised you could get on with the show without me. I don't know.
I had a whole week without you, and it was sad.
By the way, this is a throwback Pete Sousa look. That
Yeah,
beard
I'm
is
going
really
with the beard
starting
a
to
little
fill
bit.
in. Like, if you look at the old KWTX pictures, this is what Pete Sousa looks like. Yeah.
This is it, man. We're back. We're back with the beard. We're really giving no Fs this time of year.
Hell yeah.
You should be giving some Fs because the Boston Red Sox are 1-3. Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, how fun is this? You got your Red Sox hat on. They play today at 1:30.
Yeah. Yeah. Right back at it. It's baseball, baby.
Are you watching all these games?
I haven't missed an inning of the first 4 games, unfortunately.
Oh
Grace was away for the weekend, so I was just here and I was just watching baseball all weekend.
Where was Grace?
She works at a school, so she was on spring break. So she was visiting some friends and her sister. So
Oh, nice. And you stuck back in Chicago and just
someone's got to take care of this dog, So here I am, opening weekend of baseball. And what's great is you get more, like you said, day baseball this week. The Red Sox will have one today. They might. I don't think they'll have one on Wednesday. No, I don't think it's a getaway day. But then they'll have their home opener on Friday too. So that'll be a day game as well.
When is that? Don't you guys do something soon with the marathon? When does that happen?
It's Patriots Day, so it's going to be 2 weeks from today, April 14th.
Patriots Day.
10 a.m. baseball, baby.
It's a manufactured holiday. I mean, for you guys. For the rest of us, we call it 4th of July. All right?
Well, no, it's not the same. Pete, one of them's in July.
Yeah, I know, but
one of them's in April.
Manufacturing a holiday.
It's, the birthplace of this country. It's supposed to celebrate the battles of Lexington and Concord, so.
Yeah, but the Declaration
You're welcome. You're welcome for that.
The Declaration of Independence, we took care of it.
That's just a document. We had lives.
All right.
Piece of paper.
15 home runs by the Yankees
with
these new Torpedo bats. Well, do you have any concern that your nemesis, right? The Yankees, they're up to some smoke again, dude. Look at that. And your boy Portnoy did a whole video on it about how they need to be outlawed immediately. And I don't, a lot of times Portnoy will do that. He's always got interesting takes, but I agree with this one.
So Portnoy, he should really keep his sports view very narrow. I've heard him talk some hockey lately. It's bad. Heard him talk some baseball for the first time forever. Not great. And look, when the Yankees saw what the Red Sox were doing in the offseason and they went out and got Garrett Crochet and signed Alex Bregman and all this, they were like, we've got to do something else. We have to keep up with these guys who haven't made the postseason in 3 years. As much as I want to search for something to be outlaw this, cancel the Yankees, make them forfeit the games, I can't find it, Pete. I don't know. MLB will probably act on this, but I don't think they should, if we're being honest.
Why not? Dude, you can't. That's like using aluminum bats.
Well, but no, because they only have rules on how big the diameter can be or the circumference, whichever one it is. Scotty knows. He's smarter than us. Yeah. How wide the bat can be. And it's within that. They're just taking some room off the top, which if you're gonna hit it off the end of the bat, it's not gonna be good contact anyway. So I understand exactly why they're doing this. Every team is doing something like this in terms of their in spring training or when they're literally just practicing off the tee. The Red Sox had this whole story about it in the offseason about using thinner bats or using smaller bats, and it's all to get guys to barrel up balls more and to use more of their hands to barrel rather than trusting just the bat. And that's essentially what the Yankees are doing here with this Torpedo bat. I know there were a couple of other players who used it over the weekend, but I mean, yeah, it looks like a boomer bat that you'd play wiffle ball with, that you'd play wiffle ball in gym class and the girls who didn't play softball would be able to use the boomer bats. That's what it looks like. But the MLB doesn't have much of a leg to stand on here. I will say this, though. They didn't really have much of a leg to stand on with the sticky stuff for pitchers because they let them get away with it for years. And then one day in 2021, they were just like, all right, can't do it anymore. And it was instant like that. So maybe they can do that with the bats, but
I hate it. I hate the bats. I hate them. MLB needs to get in and step in because it's another thing where, it's almost like steroids or performance enhancing drugs. You're always going to stay one step ahead of the sheriff because these people are so bright that are actually the people in labs that are making this shit. They make it undetectable to drug tests. This is another thing where it's like they're one step ahead of the sheriff here, but at the same time, it's out there for all of us to see. Like, and if this is really enhancing their ability to hit the ball that dramatically, I think that they need to make a change. I do. I think they need to go back to because it's not like baseball. I don't know. Do you think it lends to the excitement of the sport? Like overall,
Yeah.
as a fan of baseball, you think this will be good?
I mean, yeah, because there'll be more home runs, but then again, there will be plenty of people like you, Pete. And honestly, I kind of feel this way too. Like you see it and you're like, that's kind of bullshit. Like you see the pictures of the bat and you're like, really? This is happening in
Yeah,
an
I'm like,
MLB game? You know what I mean? So there will definitely be some of that, but I think, more home runs, people are going to love it.
I
think it's going to take away from the pure part of the game, for being honest.
Do you think they'll change it?
Yeah, I think they will.
Like
I'm not saying it's fair, but I would say by the end of the season. Yeah.
End of the season, dude.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be stunned if they do it in the middle of the season again, like they did with the sticky stuff. They just said, "Okay, let's stop," and obviously this would be easier to enforce, right? You just can't have those bats. Everyone can see it. Sticky stuff you could hide in your glove or hide in your hat or whatever the hell, but you can't really do that with these bats. So
here's a question for you.
Well, I think more teams are going to do it before they outlaw it, by the way.
Well, I think you're going to see a lot more of it here's my question. If this is so effective and 15 home runs in 3 games, that's pretty damn good. And I know the Yankees are great, but that's pretty damn good, right? Do you think why did it take them so long to make this change? Why haven't more teams done it?
I don't know. Yeah. Apparently this thing was thought of a couple years ago too, and guys have been using it in off seasons. I don't know what took this long, to be honest with you.
Does anybody on the Red Sox use it?
Be careful there, Pete. Be careful. No. Apparently there were some guys using them in camp in spring training, but no one's used them in a game. There was like 2 or 3 other guys that used them over the weekend for different teams. I want to say one was in Cleveland. They were kind of Jags. They were nobodies, but
Jags.
A little Bill Parcells term, huh?
I mean, Christ, Cam. What were you born in 1941?
Dude, I love using the term Jag. Are you kidding me? It's easier to say than quadruple A. So,
by the way, Zach Burke is in here reading a book. I mean, this guy's the best. He's over there reading a goddamn book, and he's really reading it. It's right side up and everything.
He's got pictures in it?
No, I don't think so. Zach's smart.
Zach is smart.
So he is. Look, he's nodding his head. Your overall review of the first weekend of baseball. How do you feel it was received? Do you feel it was a big enough deal? Was it not a big enough deal? I have this interest in baseball as it goes to it being like a dying breed, right? Like,
and as you get older,
I want it to survive.
Sure.
I love baseball, right? I don't have the interest I used to, but after the first week, the returns are in. What are your reviews?
I mean, it wasn't as big as it should have been, but that's not surprising to me. Again, I hate the way that MLB handles this. We've got those 2 games in Tokyo a week and a half before everyone else plays, and it's played at 6 a.m, and nobody knows where to watch it, and there's no buzz to it. There's no marketing for it, and part of that has to do with the with the deal being up at ESPN and ESPN cutting it short, but there's no buzz to it. And then a week and a half later, everyone else starts. And then I'm trying to get in to watch the Red Sox on opening day on my MLB TV app, the only way that I can watch the Red Sox. And the whole app is down. Like everyone on Twitter, it's burning down. I didn't get into the 4th inning of game 1. And I'm thinking, you've got to be kidding me. Like MLB, you just can't get out of your own way. Like this is the day you're going to get the most traffic and you can't handle it. You weren't ready for it. And, all the games on opening day were starting at the same time. There was no staggered, like here it's going to be all day. They should have started on a Wednesday because they knew full well the NCAA tournament was going to be played on Thursday and Friday. They should have started on a Wednesday and had 3 or 4 time slots, but they don't have the networking for that anymore. And so it just doesn't have much of a buzz at all.
Wow, and that's funny. That's crazy to hear that they don't have the networking for that anymore.
They don't. They acted like bitter teenage exes. With ESPN, they're like, we'll find somebody else. Like you probably won't. You'll put it on Apple TV, and your clientele that watches MLB does not have Apple TV and doesn't know how to get Apple TV. Go ask Bill Stewart, friend of the Cam Show, how to get Apple TV to watch the Red Sox on a Friday night. He says, I'll listen to it on my computer. I'll pull out the transistor radio and listen to Will Fleming do the game on EEI. Like, they don't do that. And they think this is just an easy stream fix. It's not.
To be fair, I have to chime in as the MLS guy here. Apple TV has done excellent work for Major League Soccer. But Cam's point about target audience probably stands.
Yeah, MLS, you want to get young. I mean, everyone wants to get young fans in there, right? But MLS, to Scotty's point there, like indirectly, is a young sport. Like a young
I feel like there's a much
for
better ability for them to navigate that world.
Yeah. In fact, they could do great on something like Hulu, I think, or Amazon Prime. It's something that every young person has and everyone in that target audience. MLB doesn't have that. And obviously you want to get younger. You want to have that. It's just Apple TV, man. I don't know. Or I know they've tried, I think Prime, they did like one game. Do you have any idea? I was going to ask you this, and I'm not saying you're Peter Gammons or Jason Stark or Tom Verducci. I am from the same state as Peter Gammons. So
I am curious, what do you foresee happening with this TV deal with Major League Baseball? Where do they end up? Where do they go?
It really beats the hell out of me. It's going to be one of these second-rate streaming services. And by second-rate, I mean like, Netflix is first rate, top rate, cut rate. Yeah. Everybody has it. Something like Apple TV or Paramount Plus, which I love, is one that is second rate because it's just not part of all the streaming services you hear about. You know what I mean? I don't know how else to say it. It's not one of those top tier ones that you get. So I think MLB is probably going to settle on one of those. I think if they swallow their pride and take a little bit less than they think, I think Fox Sports can work out a good deal for them. But even Fox Sports, man, I mean, it's not like ESPN. Nobody knows where FS1 is, in the greater audience of sports,
I'm going to have to find it today to watch The Crown.
Yeah. That's big time, baby.
4 basketball games on.
Yeah. So I think it's going to end up on something like that. But really what MLB should be focusing on first and foremost, and I think they've made some headway here, is just fixing the RSN situation. If you have a good, strong, and I think we talked about this after this thing came down, Pete, was if you have a strong regional sports network, you're okay. Like, and the markets that were going to survive are still going to survive but there are some markets that still don't really have a regional sports network in the aftermath of this whole Bally thing 2 years later.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And and by the way, Nesson's a great one that covers the Red Sox. But if you're out of market and the MLB app doesn't work, you're up Schitt's Creek without a paddle, paying $30 a month for Nesson Plus, like to give you just Red Sox games or Bruins games and no original content. It's kind of the same thing with Apple TV. It's like, yeah, I would do that just for the games, but there's no extra benefit. Like if I'm not watching Ted Lasso, there's no reason for me to have Apple TV. It's the same thing.
Maybe Rogue will take it over.
I think Corey Dickman should be alerted to this. I think he should be briefed on the situation.
Send Josh Beard out to Fenway Park, and we're like, look, just hold the camera straight. All right, don't worry.
Wide shot.
All right, Cam, you're coming up next. Why don't you have me on sometime this week? All right.
Hey, we got big appointment television this week. I'll be working in front of the TV. We've got a trial starting back up tomorrow.
Karen Reed starts tomorrow?
Yeah.
Jesus.
No fooling. That's big.
All right. Can I come on to talk about Karen Reed at some point?
Sure. I should have had you on today, but I'm kind of flimsy on the third segment. You want to come on the third segment? Do you have time for that?
Yeah, I'll do